Why? Is you're a creep or just an asshole?
If you're hearing our voices, it means it's time for It's This Meets That, the podcast where we watch the worst movies from trailer and credits scene by scene. So you don't have to, but maybe you should. I'm Russ.
I'm Jared. You should do that thing that they do like on the radio where you bleep out hole. Like you can say ass for some reason, but as soon as it's asshole, then it's
I can do that. I can give you a little.
Yeah, let me say ass. Just hole is the bad part.
Hole is the bad part. It's the hole you're worried about, you know?
Yeah, hilarious censors.
You're so funny.
So funny.
So funny. All right, so we're back with part 2 of our full breakdown of Love Again, 2023 movie based on a novel that has terrible ratings, has terrible reviews on Goodreads, and based on another German movie.
I wonder if that one has good reviews.
SMS für dich.
That's right. That's right.
It sounds so
for angry. The German listeners.
Yes.
There's at least a couple of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we're back. Where did we left off with our hero?
Who's the hero?
I don't know. I'm not even sure. Celine?
I don't think we have
Dion?
one.
Céline Dion? Is she the hero?
Yeah. Maybe. Primary antagonist, I think, is Céline Dion.
So yeah. Primary therapist. So Rob had just gotten a text message from Mira that was supposed to go to John, but he's still getting text messages saying, she's like, hey, I got to take a break, which leads us into
listen, babe,
a sad montage.
We're gonna have a sad montage.
And he's just being sad. And like at this point I was like laughing, like this is ridiculous.
Yeah. It's like they play All By Myself by Céline Dion.
Yeah. Not the Green Day song. All By Myself.
Right.
And he's just
like a knockoff JVDB, don't you think? Like I was like, oh, I want him to be James Vanderbeek, and then this might be good.
Yeah. He's not though, and he's just like moping around the office, like so, like I'm sad, and then like,
yep,
yeah, I don't want to be all by myself anymore. And then he gets a text from Billy, who he thinks it's her, and literally the text is like, "Stop looking at your phone," which was kind of funny given the situation. But
yep.
And then we cut to the office again.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, back at the office there.
That's cubicle, right? Yeah. Like his friend's like, you got to get over this, man. It's not healthy.
Yeah, Billy takes his phone. They do a little chase thing here, and then
make a whole scene. It's really like don't make a scene like that at work.
And then this is some really hardcore investigative team effort here. So Mira texts John, right? And it's just it's a line from Orpheus and what's it called?
Yucatan. I don't know.
Yucatan. Yeah.
No, I have no clue. Whatever, some opera.
Yeah. And thankfully, Lisa is all knowledgeable about this play and this poem, whatever. And she gives us all the nod and info that we need to know. And she's like, oh, it's a play down on Broadway or wherever.
Yep.
And he's like, I'm going to go see it. And they're like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm going to go. And they're like, why? And he's like, I'm going to keep going until I see her. Like, how are you going to know what show she's going to? He's like, I'm just going to keep going to all of them until.
Yep. Until I love the opera or I love her, one way or the other. Or both.
Yeah. And it's like,
it's so stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
And I love how, like, as he's walking out, I love his accent makes what he says, like, it makes him sound like a villain. He's like, well, you know what they say, love makes fools of everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he's doing an accent. I didn't watch any interviews to like see what he sounds like. I mean, he's Scottish, right? So like, I'm assuming he sounds like Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I don't know. It seems like he's like trying to sound
British, because doesn't his boss say, like, he's like, yeah, I gave you this hire because we're English buddies or something like that?
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
He says that to him because his boss is British, definitely.
So he's trying to do an English accent?
I think so. So he's like taking a little bit of the hard Scottish thing out and just doing a British thing. So I think in the movie he's supposed to be British because his boss says that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And that's what makes him sound like a villain because, I mean, the British. Right. Come on.
We all know.
So
history's greatest villain.
Yeah. Come on. Jeez. We go from a sad montage to stalker light bulb moment right into an opera montage. So we're kissing booth level montages here.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's
like, He's like, just like they just like show him going to operas a bunch and like
Yep.
crying basically. He's like, oh my God, I get it now. He's like, well, I never found her, but I think I love opera now.
It's like, what?
It's like, what?
And then the scene from the trailer, the Christmas Prince moment.
Yeah.
The lights shut off. We get the spotlight on them. No one, all of a sudden, all the people in the background fade away. And she's at the top of the stairs in the yellow dress. And yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
So
they talk.
Quick
right?
moment, quick question here. Trailer, maybe cut or something. Isn't it in the trailer? Doesn't she say, she texts like, I'm going to wear that yellow dress you got me? But I think in the movie, they don't show that text.
I think you're right. Yeah. I think it just happens.
Because they're like, how are you going to know who she is? And they skip over the fact that like, oh, I'm looking for someone wearing a yellow dress.
Yep. Nope. They never. Yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah. Right.
At least I don't remember it.
Yeah. I was like, okay. Yeah, I thought so. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like built up to be this big romantic thing, which like,
yeah,
it's not. It's creepy and weird.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of creepy and weird romance,
love it.
We got part 2 random facts with Jared.
That's the official name. Part 2.
Yeah.
We're working
workshop that.
Yeah, workshop that one. Listeners, if you got an idea.
Yep. We got some good feedback that people like the torture facts. So I'm going to do romantic torture facts.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Are you familiar with St. Valentine? The story of St. Valentine?
No. He was a jerk, though, wasn't he?
No, he was a pretty cool dude.
Okay. I don't know.
For the most part, I guess. But you don't get to be a saint by just being a good person. You get to be a saint by dying brutally.
I mean, right? That's just how it works.
Yeah. So basically, Emperor Claudius II, he's like a big anti-Valentine guy.
Okay.
He's like out here performing miracles and like, like restoring the sight to the blind. Like he's doing all kinds of weird stuff, maybe witchcraft, some might say.
Some might call it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. But he's out here like he also does like marriages for soldiers and ministering to the Christians that are prosecuted under Roman rule, yada yada yada.
So on and so forth. Yep.
St. Valentine. So obviously the solution here was beat the crap out of him with clubs and then chop his head off.
When in doubt.
Yeah. So brutal execution.
Okay. All right. We're still workshopping this. We're still working.
Yeah. It's about romance, violence.
Okay. All right. So they have their moment, and spotlights on them, and she's like, "It's all from the trailer." She's like, "Do I know you?" And he's like, "I'm not sure." And then they have a sneaker moment. Like, "Oh, you're wearing sneakers. I'm wearing sneakers too. I guess we like comfy footwear." These are like stupid things. You're like, oh man, you like movies too? It's like like, oh wow, like,
yeah. Oh, you say baby too?
Wow, that's crazy. Wow,
yeah, baby,
yeah, baby. And then he's like stumbling through this conversation about hope and like what the opera meant to him, and yada yada.
There's no joy without struggle. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
and she's like, oh, I didn't get that at all.
Yeah, were you even paying attention?
Yeah, it is kind of funny. Like why? Like they just kind of gloss over this. She's like they make it seem like like he's giving her another perspective, but you're like no, he's just interpreting it wrong.
Yeah. And he's like, so he's still stumbling through this conversation, which happens quite a bit throughout the rest of this movie. It's I don't know, it's like goofy. I don't like it. And then he asks her for a number.
Well, not really. He says, "Would you like my number?"
Oh, that's right. That's what I'm okay.
And she's like, "Okay."
Okay.
So uncomfortable.
It's so brutal. And then she's like walking away, and then we like immediately cut back. All the people are back. We're lighting is normal. And she just walks right into like a couple, which is kind of funny, but
it was funny. But also this part I hated too, because they were just like, he's giving her his number and he's like, "Oh, I'll make sure to give you my personal phone number." And she's like,
oh, yeah.
As opposed to what? And he's like, "My work phone number. I have one of those too. It's separate."
I hate this.
And different.
It's so cringy. It's so bad. It's like, why? I know what they're trying. Like they're doing this like stumbling. I'm in love and I can't get my words, together as I can right now personally, but
creepy.
Yeah.
Like don't talk about the thing that you're using to stalk her immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. Use your brains here, buddy.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
It's a nightmare.
So this is the halfway point, I believe,
Yeah.
time wise. And then we get a New York City transition shot because, you know, you need to have them in there.
Yep.
And then we're back at his apartment. He's still checking texts from Mira, right? And then this is when we level up our stalking because he's got her name now and he does some internet stalking.
Yeah, it's so creepy.
Step one, Google, right? Finds out she's a children's author. He's like, cool. What is this dialogue? Who says that out loud to themselves? Like, cool.
Yeah.
And then he does some more stalking, finds out she's got a boyfriend, a DBB.
Yeah.
Finds John. He goes on his page.
It's
now he's
super sad.
Then he's stalking some dead guy, which is, that's not cool.
It's like basically just like a quick montage of like all of the dead guy's hopes and dreams and like, oh, he would have been so cool if they stuck around.
It would have been great if you just like liked one of the posts of like the dead guy.
That would be pretty funny.
We'll drop a little heart on that.
Yep. And that's when he gets the text. That's not to him.
Nope.
To the dead guy. And he's like, I met someone interesting. I think you'd like him, which is a weird thing to say to your ex-dead late boyfriend / fiance. Yeah. I think you'd like him.
Okay. Like, I don't have an opinion. I'm dead.
Yeah, would we be boys? Would we have like a weird three-way? What are you trying to get at here?
We jumping in a little polycule? What are we doing here?
I guess so, yeah.
Is that right?
All right.
Let's go. Okay. So then we're back at Rob's office and he's telling the coworkers he met the girl and they're all excited. Like, wow, that's great. And then he starts,
that's totally not weird of you.
And then he's like talking out loud and the mood changes pretty quickly. He's like, she's texting her dead boyfriend. And the coworker's absolutely mortified to like, ooh, okay.
Yikes.
Yeah. And that's not what you should do. And then Mira calls him and he fumbles around like a 10-year-old boy or something. And
on his personal phone, right?
On his personal phone, right. Yeah, right. She calls the dead boyfriend and he answers, hey, babe, what's up? I'm right down the street. Gotcha.
That's the end. Spoilers.
So then, we cut back and forth between Mira and the sister and Rob and the coworkers. Yeah, how the heck are you?
He sucks so bad.
So bad. And they're like trying to coach him through like this extremely painful, like, dude, just be like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah. Haha, yeah, I love the weather. It's been very weathery.
What is this?
Do you eat?
Have you ever talked to another human being before? Like, what is happening?
I love food. Can't get enough.
Do you like cheeseburgers? Oh, yeah. Cheeseburgers, that's great. Yeah, I love cheeseburgers. How about 7 p.m.? Oh, 7 p.m. That's my favorite time.
It's so stupid. I hate it so much.
I remember his coworker grabbed his phone and just smashed it and be like, you're done. You're done. This movie's over.
Yeah.
Cut.
I'm saving you from yourself.
Cut. And then the one Lisa, she's like, yeah, it'd be great. You can tell her the truth. And that's when it all settles in. He's like, oh, if I do that, she'll never talk to me again. How do you know that? How do you know that?
Yep.
But you should tell her the truth.
You absolutely should.
And then the boss calls him in and is like, hey, I see you're getting these weird texts. And Rob is like, oh, those are Céline Dion lyrics.
Yep.
And he gets out of that. Slacker. Like a total slacker.
Yeah. Is that Celine?
Yeah. So you're going to lie to my face and tell me that Céline Dion is texting you lyrics for her new album?
I mean,
you're fired. Get out of my office.
He is best friends with Céline Dion now, so
it's true. She is his therapist. So we're in date night. Date night, and he's late. This is a safety tip, actually.
Yep.
I think it's safety tip number. It's kind of up there. It's safety tip number 93.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't be late. It's rude.
That's true.
Right.
That's right. Yeah, it's the corollary to, a wizard's never early nor late. Don't be late. It's rude. That's how that sentence ends.
Right. Yeah.
Very Tolkien-esque.
So he's late into a date, which is rude, and have awkward chat because that's all they do for like the most of this movie is this awkward chatting stuff. It's really annoying.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm going to use the bathroom. He goes to use the bathroom to freshen up. He's like, I'm going to tell her. I'm going to tell her. He's like, nope, I'm not going to tell her. And he comes back and they go to eat their burgers. And guess what? He puts French fries on his cheeseburger too, Jared.
What?
Yeah.
It's the best way, she says.
Yes.
Oh, it's the best way. Okay.
Oh, OMG. They're doing the same thing. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. It's meant to be. It's meant to be.
Followed quickly by a, would you rather own 10 cats or have a parrot on your shoulder for 24 hours?
And he's like, what kind of question is that? Yeah, a little fake out. What kind of question is that? And you're like, oh, we were having such a good moment. And he's like, obviously the bird. Ha 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 ha. And they laugh. But yeah, I think I'm going, bird or cats? 10 cats or a bird on your shoulder?
Yeah, I mean, 10 cats, you have to feed 10 cats. That's expensive, dude.
I think, well, you got to feed the bird.
For 24 hours. That's the part of the, there's a time limit on the parrot.
It's just 24 hours? Oh, yeah.
It has to sit on your shoulder for a full 24 hours.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, let's do that.
Oh, my minor inconvenience. Yeah.
Yeah, and they get into a little pirate talk. I'm like, I mean, we love pirates, so yeah.
Yar.
I'm Jerry Butts. Ay. This movie. Okay. Yeah, I take the
ridiculous.
bird. Yeah, I take the parrot for 24 hours. Okay, so
10 cats is too many cats.
Way too many. Let me get the date night stroll here. Post date night. A little walk and talk, walk and date. And he brings up the ring. He's like, oh, I see you got a ring on it. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, that you're not even engaged to.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I didn't want to start with, I have a dead boyfriend.
A late dead ex-boyfriend, right?
Too late. That's how the whole thing started. He knows already.
He knows. And then she goes into like, he was engaged once too. And like, she left a week before the wedding. And then I think he quotes a line from Céline Dion, doesn't he?
Something about love is a mystery. Is that a Céline Dion quote?
I think what she said earlier or something. Probably. A couple more would you rathers they have, I think, in this moment.
Yeah, something like that. They just dance in the park and they're like, what are you thinking about right now? And they're like, you're cute.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. That was the other would you rather. Would you rather just say whatever's on your mind or not speak at all? I think I'd go say what's on my mind, but
yeah.
And they dance, they have a moment, and then they sat on the bench all night long. It's like, apparently now it's like early morning.
They bond over Cardi B for some reason.
You've been sitting on this, talking on this bench for 6 hours probably.
Yep.
And you're just getting into talking about your musical tastes.
You're just getting into Cardi B. It's his job.
Like literally, it's his job is to talk about music. You're just getting into it now.
Yep.
What'd you talk about for 6 hours?
I don't know. And then also not any of the stuff that he should have been talking about with her, because he's like, I have to tell you, I don't want this date to end.
Oh man. Come on, buddy.
Well, almost, I guess.
Yeah.
They're like, well, see you around.
They do make a plan to meet up again tonight at her place for dinner. So.
Yeah. Well, so like, this is where it was like, all right, well, see you around. And I was like, oh, maybe, or like we just keep this date train rolling, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, or we could just go back to our places individually and do whatever we want and then meet up at 9 p.m. for dinner. And you're like, wait, that's 12 hours from now or more than that, probably. Like, what? Oh, you mean like we'll just go on a normal date the next day? Like, oh my God. I'm so mad.
All right. So we get
that's what they do.
Yeah, that's what they do. And then we get another New York transition shot, daytime one. And then we're at the apartment. Now we fast forward to them on date night 2. Continue with date night into date night 2, date 2. So they made something, a quick little montage of them cooking food, and doesn't look like it came out all that well. So they settle on cereal, and they have little ha jokes about how cereal is so great.
Yeah, I'd learned to cook for you, and then he's like, "How did he die?"
Yeah. He comes out. He's like, "I'd cook for you," and he's like, an awkward pause. He's like, "So, how did he die?" Can you give me the dates? Give me the dates on how he's dead. How is he dead?
How is he dead? He's Australian now.
Yeah, how is he dead? Is he dead now? Hey. That's not a spoon. This is a spoon. What's happening? And then she's like, yeah, he died drunk driver.
Oh, she's Scottish now too.
Yeah, drunk driver during the daytime drunk driving. Hit him. Yeah, he's crossing the street.
That's a deep cut, listeners. I think safety tip like 139 maybe.
Yeah.
Only drive drunk at night and in the suburbs where there's no one around.
Preferably in an open field.
That's right.
In If you must, but don't.
Right, but don't.
But don't. Oh my goodness. And then he goes on this little analogy about basketball. He likes basketball, and she's like, oh, we should play sometime, whatever. And he goes on about this like weird analogy about like how you can learn so much about someone by playing basketball with them. You can learn more.
Oh, famous expression.
Yeah, like you can learn more about someone playing basketball than you can talking with them for an hour. It's like, what?
What? In what way?
This makes me realize that you definitely are not a basketball fan.
That's right. That's right.
I was like, what a weird thing. And then he goes on about like how like, oh, like everyone can play it and it's everywhere. It's kind of all over the world, whatever. And he goes on about like how like this country is so, and like this city is so, and then she looks over and she's like asleep and he's like, beautiful. It's like, what are you doing? What is this? So he carries her to bed, like stalking gentlemen do, and lays her down, and then he goes lay on the couch to sleep out there. And sister comes home, and he scares the shit out of her, and she throat punches him, that's what you should do.
That's what you should do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Right for the throat. And then they have a beer, and then they kind of just chat away.
Until the morning also, I guess?
Yeah,
like,
he's
guy's gotten 2 hours of sleep in the last 48 hours. Like he's probably going crazy at this point.
He's just working it. He's working it, talking away, yapping away.
Hallucinating all of this, I'm sure.
Yeah, the whole thing's a hallucination. And then, so next morning, they're still talking away, and Amira wakes up and she hears them. I couldn't tell. So this is weird. So she wakes up and she's kind of freaking out. And I was like, is she freaking out because he's talking to the sister and having a good time? Or is she freaking out because like, oh, this might be something I need to get out of here. Yeah. Or option 3, he's still here. Like, I'm gonna leave him alone with my sister.
Yeah, maybe out of all of the above. She's like, I got to go to Soul Cycle.
Yeah, he got coffee and desserts breakfast treats,
breakfast desserts. Yeah, no, and he just says, "Well, Soul Cycle's a cult. See you later."
All right.
And then we cut to her crying in the car. Like this whole transition is like pretty messed up.
I was like, so that's how I was really confused. Like, is she like upset because like he's talking to his I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
All right, and we're at the Barclay Center, as one does, and we got Céline. Yeah, Céline busting out some vocals, doing a sound check. And Rob shows up, and Celine's like, "I see a change in you already."
Oh, she's Eastern European now.
Yeah, something like that. And then we just more therapy sessions with Céline. And he's going on about, he's like, how she's still stuck on her ex, dead, late boyfriend. And she's like, oh, somehow.
And she's like, wait a second, Mira Ray?
Yeah.
I know her kids' books. Yeah. And he's like, what?
What?
And she's like, yeah, I hate the art, though. Like, it needs to be more joyful. What? What's happening?
And then I love how the publicist comes around the corner with like a picture of Céline, like a bad crayon drawing of Céline and like fire or whatever, and has like the idea for the poster for like her show. And Celine's like, what? No. But that sparks an idea in Rob's brain here, stalker brain, is to win over the ladies to get her a job, right?
Right. That's right.
That's right. That's how that works. I think we all know the idea. And so we get a phone call, and this is all from a trailer. Céline calls Mira and does the whole like, oh, and
hi, it's Céline Dion. Yeah, okay, I'm Mariah Carey.
Yeah. And then Céline sings her way into convincing her that it's her.
Yeah. How did you get my number? I have my people who have people.
Yeah. I have my stalker who is very good at his job.
Yeah, I hate this whole exchange because she's like, oh, okay, well, what can I do for you? She's like, well, I'm a big fan of your stubborn caterpillar. Are you free right now? She's like, yeah, let's meet up. And so they do.
Just okay.
Which, speaking of meetings,
yeah.
Are you familiar with Inês de Castro and Pedro I of Portugal?
I am not.
Okay, well, Inês was the lover of Prince Pedro, right? The first. And despite their deep love, apparently Pedro's father, King Alfonso the Fourth, not having it. So as soon as Pedro basically is like, Dad, you just had my lover murdered.
Yeah.
And so he looks for vengeance. And so he gets the murderers executed then, apparently, and then dug up Inez's body to make her the dead queen. And then like made everyone in court be like,
what?
look at her. Look at your queen.
What?
Like at her corpse. It's pretty metal.
That is straight up metal. That's ruthless.
Right? Yeah. And he like had like the people who killed her, he like had their hearts ripped out while they were still alive. And it's like a whole thing.
Whoa. What?
Yeah. Because symbolizing, his lost love.
The lost love. Yeah, I got that. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
dark stuff.
That is metal, though. That is metal. That's more metal than your ma's kettle.
So romantic torture.
Romantic torture. You're 2 for 2. I'd give you right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, buddy. All right, so we're at the fancy hotel, and Céline and Mira meet, and more therapy sessions because Céline Dion, that's what she does, Dijon. And she's like, "Hey, do you want to design my tour poster?" And then there's a really now misguided text to Drake, the other Canadian.
Oh yeah.
So
they mentioned Drake earlier too.
Did they? I was like,
yeah, there was a very brief Drake mention earlier.
Obviously, about like this is before all the diss tracks. This is before the diss tracks in real life that came out. So
way before that, yeah. But this is the payoff from the earlier Drake mention.
I didn't miss that one that she mentioned. Okay, so she's like texting like, "Hey, send me some photos, some pics of the tattoos once you get them." And Drake responds, "Sure, will do."
Yeah. So that's the I meant to mention it earlier. It was when they were talking about how big Céline Dion is, and they're like, Drake's getting her name tattooed on his face.
Oh,
that's how famous she is. And you're like, what? Like, it's just stupid. Like, it's not funny. And it doesn't make any sense. No. You're like, oh, okay. And so this is the payoff for that.
Payoff, or I don't know.
No, it's frustrating.
We've been robbed. So we cut to
Rob Burns.
We've been Rob Burns. Speaking of which, we are talking the street now, and we got Mira and Rob chatting, having some champagne in a can because they're celebrating change, and she busts out the old basketball.
Yep.
Do people carry basketballs in a bag? I think they just like carry them. Just carry them, right?
I mean, a basketball is a sizable ball.
Yeah, just carry it, right?
People are going to notice if you have a basketball in a bag also.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, well, hey, what's in the bag?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Hey, what's that basketball size thing in the bag?
Oh, this thing?
This whole thing?
This whole thing? So then that's the scene from the trailer. They go and play basketball. And scene from the trailer. He's not good at it because he doesn't know anything about it. And then she puts some stakes on the whole thing. She's like, hey, if I win, she jumps right to, we're going back to my place and I get to do whatever I want. Have my way with you. Like, yeah. Whoa. And they don't even play the game. They just make out right there. And
they just met.
Yep.
Well, she while they're making out, she tosses a one-handed swish right through the net. You can hear it if you listen closely.
Oh, I feel it. Oh, yeah. I win.
Yeah.
It's lovely. And then they wake up in bed. And
good morning, Vietnam.
Hello. All right. And he's like, he's a total, this is weird. So he's like, oh, I got to go to work, babe. And I was like, why now? I have
to be somewhere in 15 minutes.
15? You're in New York City. You're not getting anywhere in 15 minutes. Like,
you don't have enough time for that.
15 minutes? Where are you going?
Yeah. And he said he has to be somewhere in 15 minutes. And so what does he do? Takes a nice long shower. Like, what?
That's not how New York City works.
No, not at all.
No. It's going to take you 15 minutes just to leave the house.
Yeah, no, he takes a 15-minute shower and he sings Céline Dion songs the whole time, which I'm like, ooh, suspicious. Wait a second.
So he goes, so he's getting ready, he's singing in the shower, whatever. And then she gets a text from the sister and she's like, I'm at Rob's, whatever. And then she starts kind of like, she's kind of like poking around and comes across his laptop, which is unlocked and open to the messages that he's like getting ported to his laptop.
Well, it's underneath the Céline Dion book.
Right.
She's putting both things together at once here. She's like, wait a second. Why did Céline Dion call me about a job? Wait a second. What are these dead boyfriend texts doing on this guy's computer? It's all falling apart.
And I think I don't know if that's a safety tip, but just don't leave your stuff out like that. right? Like it's really easy to lock the laptop. So that means that laptop was open and on the entire time she was there. Like,
yep, yep. With no screensaver, dude, you're gonna get burned in.
Yeah, dude, like that thing's got to go to sleep mode at some point.
You gotta put it to sleep.
Got it. So then she calls John because she's starting to piece things together here, and
yep, the jig is up.
Jig is up. Rob Burns, you are in trouble, buddy.
Yeah, and so like he answers the phone like he's a dummy.
Yeah,
he's like, ooh,
ooh, no.
And they just like look at each other, and she like walks out. He's like, wait, you don't understand. I tried to tell you. And she's like, no, you didn't.
No, you didn't try once. So maybe in your psychopathic head here, stalker head, you did, but no, you didn't.
Yeah,
you didn't try.
Are you a creep or an asshole?
And like, she's like, you took John away from me. He's like, no, I didn't do that. Daytime drunk.
Céline Dion.
Daytime drunk. Céline Dion driving in her BMW did.
That's right.
That's the real mystery.
Yeah, she drives a Beamer.
And so she's all is lost at this point, and she leaves, and she's like, yeah, you know what? How about you lose my number? See ya.
Have a good life.
See ya.
Bye.
Yeah, okay. And then we got another montage, sad montage.
Yeah, it's like she like has these really strong feelings that last for 3 minutes.
Yeah,
she's like looking at like the ring of the fiance that never proposed, and meanwhile like he's watching some sad basketball and she's eating sad ice cream.
Yeah, while watching Julia Roberts movies, like that's just what you do. And he's like trying to form a text to send to her, but he keeps deleting it. Yep. And then we end up at Moe's restaurant there, and we got
another Céline Dion song playing because that's the rest of the soundtrack in this movie is
pretty much
I think exclusively Céline Dion, other than that one Courtney Barnett song.
Yeah, I think that's it. So we're at Moe, and Moe has met someone. Looks like Moe's moved on.
Yep.
And he comes over and he starts talking about the dead boyfriend. And Sis is like, oh, and he's like, no, she's got to hear this. Mira inspired me to like move on. Yada da. He's like, I moved on, so can you?
He like says something about he's like dead people, not funny at all. And you're like,
yeah, what? Yeah.
I don't know. Like everyone just says bad. This script is so bad.
It's he's going on about how like, oh, I realized I wanted to laugh with someone. I want to share these moments and laugh with somebody. It's not funny. Dead people.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny. Because dead people aren't funny at all. I was like, yeah, but okay. I don't think it's supposed to be funny.
Yeah. So she gets even sadder.
Yes. Realizing that John was kind of funny. Now he's dead. Right. Struck down by drunk Céline Dion in her Beamer. Strike me down, I will become more powerful. All right, so then we're back at the office, and
well, he is about to be a Force ghost.
He is
soon.
It's true, right? So not too far off.
No.
Oh my god! So we're back at the office here, Rob's office, and the coworkers are wanting to help, but there's not like nothing they can really do. Just kind of like whatever. This guy sucks. And then
they're like, you should have said something, you dummy. Like it might have worked if you told her the truth. Like you really fucked this one up.
Yeah. And he's like going through like the whole scenario, like what if I did tell her the truth? If I just told her the truth, yada yada yada. And then he sparks another idea. He's an idea guy. He's an idea guy.
But he's also like, in one moment, he's like, there's no way I can reach her. And you're like, you have several ways to reach her.
Several ways. Yeah. Yeah. You know where she lives. You've got her phone number. You got her dead boyfriend's phone number.
Right.
You got her Instagram. You got her Facebook now. You stalked all that stuff up, right?
It's so silly.
So, all right. And then he's like, hey, he's like gathering some things, and he's like, yeah, what time's the deadline? And you're like, oh no. And you're like, oh no, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do what you're about
I have no way to communicate with her. I know what to do.
I got an idea. Don't do this.
Nope, he's gonna do it.
He's gonna do it. So yeah, we're back at the sister's apartment, and the sister gets a text from some guy named Bernard, her friend or something like that. I don't remember if he's
Bernie,
what are you doing, buddy? And Rob, as we all guessed, wrote a piece called Texts for Mira.
Yep. It's terrible.
Cringy. That's probably not a good idea.
She's like, I don't want to read it, but I'm going to read it.
Yeah, sister reads it anyways. She starts reading it, and
I thought this was supposed to be a profile on Céline Dion.
Yeah, he was like, I was supposed to get Céline Dion to open up, but instead she got me to open up because she's a therapist.
Miss Dion opened me is literally the line.
And then we cut to like a reading the article montage, which is like him now reading the entire article, and it's like cutting between like Céline Dion, Mira, the sister, Mo and his girlfriends, the parents.
Everybody's crying.
Everyone's crying. The people on the bus were like just jumping around to everyone who's been in the movie so far.
Yeah.
And everyone's tearing up. And then we're back at the sister's apartment, and Celine calls Mira, and she's like, yo.
Well, the article ends with him being like, meet me tonight at the place.
Oh, right.
What?
Yeah.
Like, that's not specific at all. Like,
no.
They have several places that they went to on their whirlwind romance over the course of 2 days. Like, were we going to the basketball court? Are we going to the opera house? Are we going to
the park where we danced with the guy with playing the music?
Yeah, so Costco to get more Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah, your rooftop deck, like,
could be anywhere.
Meet
me at the place.
Meet me at the place tonight. Okay.
But,
so then
that's when Céline Dion calls.
Céline Dion calls Mira. Sister's like, what is even your life right now?
Good question.
And Celine's like, hey, just off the top here, Rob didn't put me up to this. And then Céline
talks about Seal.
Yeah, it goes on about Seal and her dead husband and kind of relating here.
Mm-hmm.
And Celine's like, hey, I don't care if you two connect. I just want to make sure you're okay.
Is she married to Seal now?
Oh, what? No.
I don't know. I've misread this whole situation.
The whole thing was like she was telling a story about how her husband, Renee, there was jealous because she was going to go on tour or something with Seal or something, or she wanted to meet him. And he was trying to prevent that, and then or something like that. So it's
so stupid. Yeah. And she's like, "How's my poster coming along, by the way?"
BT Dub. I do have a world tour to go on, so I do need this poster ready.
Yeah. Speaking of non sequiturs, are you familiar with the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre?
I am not, but please go on.
Sure. So following the wedding of her daughter, Marguerite de Valois, to Henry IV, Catherine de' Medici not stoked about this. De' Medici, right? That's her mom, Marguerite's mom.
Okay.
Tensions are high, right? There's a huge wave of violence sweeps through France.
Sure. You're the one with the facts here.
And the Huguenots get hunted down, massacred brutally, right? They like hack them to death with, I'm assuming, blunt swords.
Blunt swords, yeah.
Yeah. They drown them, they burn them alive. Like, it's a whole thing. Several days of like thousands of deaths and widespread terror just because of this whole wedding.
Red wedding, huh?
That's kind of it.
Oh, that's okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Don't have your wedding be responsible for thousands of deaths.
Don't do it. Just don't do it.
Easy enough.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, and I bet they were probably really uncomfortable at the end
because they're dead.
Yeah.
Right. So we're back in Rob's office, and Rob is getting reamed out by his British boss there, and he's like, "You can't be doing this, writing these articles. You're supposed to do that." And the whole office is like, "Yikes!" Everyone's like, "Rob has been such a slacker, anyways. Like, just fire this guy already." And then in between, the boss like writes him a little ding, and he's like, well done. And he soft speaks about how like, hey, it was a great article. I just have to read me out because I can't have everyone else here thinking they can write these like personal type of articles. So, and then he tells him, he's like, and guess what? You can have your podcast. Nice.
Whoa, who does he think he is? ITMT?
Yeah. He can think all he wants, but it ain't happening. It ain't happening, buddy.
That's right.
And the name of his podcast is Would You Rather? And this is so stupid.
Like, that's already the name of 10 podcasts.
Yeah, like, grow up. Find like a really complicated name that you have to shorten to,
Ugh.
Yeah, all right.
Thanks, boss.
Yeah. Thanks, boss. Great.
Yep.
Another dude on a podcast. Like, that's what we need.
Yeah, right. The last thing we need. All right, so then we're at sister's apartment, or whatever, the apartment, Mira's place, and she's going through John's texts, and he's there. She poured a couple shots. She's taken
Tips
Yeah,
from
she's
Mo.
shit-faced, and all of a sudden
Hallucinating.
John's Force Ghost appears.
She's microdosing some mushrooms.
More powerful than you can ever imagine.
If you strike me down, Céline Dion, I shall become more powerful. So yeah, he shows up and he's like, by the way, it was Céline Dion. She was in the car. No, he doesn't say. You've got to get her. She's on a warpath. So she's doing some shots and John is there and he's like, hey, babe, you got to move
Wish
on.
I could have said goodbye to you. My last text from you should have been a gift from the Notebook. Like,
what?
Enemy of the pod, Nicholas Sparks. How could you?
How could you bring that up right now? And he's like, hey, you gotta just keep living your life, babe. You know? He's like, I want you to fly like your caterpillar turns into a moth or butterfly.
That's easy for you to say. You're dead.
Yeah. You know you're having this conversation with yourself right now, right?
No, she doesn't know that.
So that's her kind of getting some closure a little bit with
yeah,
the dead boyfriend.
They're like, well, miss you.
And then we cut to the park, and Rob's just sitting there waiting with flowers. And time passes quite a bit, and he's still waiting. She never shows.
Yeah, because you said meet me at the place like an idiot.
Yeah, and he drops the flowers like whatever. She's not gonna show up.
Yep.
And then we cut back to the sister's apartment, and Rob shows up because he knows where she lives. And sister's like, yeah, she's not here, and she's not answering her text, whatever. But you should see this. And
you gotta see this.
It's just a picture. It's just a drawing of a smiling caterpillar. That's it.
Well, it's a smiling caterpillar that's turned into a butterfly.
Oh, right. Yes.
So he's happy that she moved on.
And
the sister's like, sorry, dude.
Like the smack you over the head, symbolism here of she's gotten over it. Hey,
and this is where we could have gone. We could have gone one of the ways that you predicted, where it was like, okay, she's actually just going to find herself, and
the end.
That'll be the end,
right?
But we can't have that.
No, we can't have that.
Can't have nice things.
So then he's like, again, having ideas, and the sister says something to him, and he has all these quick flashback moments of all the places they'd been, and where they ran into each other.
It's like 2 days.
Yeah, and then he goes to the opera, and it's like kind of lately snowing.
Be the opera.
It's got to be the opera. It's kind of slightly snowing.
Yep.
And then he's like, it's not the opera. Damn, shucks. Gosh darn
Gate's
it.
locked. Oh man.
Gosh darn it. And he's like running around the streets, like calling her name. I was like, all right, this guy he's off the reservation at this point. And then it's the shot of the trailer of him like running down the street, and then she kind of comes in the foreground or the background and like kind of runs in. And he's like yelling her name.
Anything.
No.
She texts him.
I hate this so much. I mean, it's text for you, so I guess, you got to stick with the theme of the movie, right?
I guess so.
And he's just yelling her name randomly, but yep, it's her. And then, I
was starting to wonder if you changed your mind. He's like, I was in the park. And she's like, I wasn't. And she's like, all right, we can be together on 2 conditions. One,
which turns into like 3 or 4 demands, but let's.
One, no more lying. Reasonable.
Yeah, that's like the foundation of a good relationship is,
no more lying. Right.
No more lying.
2, I'll always love John. Like, what? And he's like, okay, fair enough. And she's like, 3, like, neither of us are going to cook. You're like, okay. And he's like, 4, Céline Dion is important. You're like, wait, what?
5, Céline says that you got to do the dishes.
Right. Yeah. Basically. And then meanwhile, it's like all of a sudden it's like, it's all coming back. It's all coming back.
Yeah. It's like, and then they kiss, right? And then they get the classic Céline song, right? Yeah. Kiss me like this, hold me like that. It's this meets that.
That's right. Famous Céline Dion song. Yep. And then it just turns into a Céline Dion music video. That's like the end.
That's the end. And it fades into, her doing her Barclay show and crushing it. Classic, baby,
so
baby. And then like during the credits start rolling. And then it's like this weird, like all the actors like lip syncing Céline Dion songs in like various locations. It was like, and Rob's wearing his Scottish kilt in Scotland, like in the hills. They're like, what is going on?
He's wearing a kilt and an I Heart Céline shirt.
Yeah. This felt like goofy stuff that the director told all the actors, like, hey, lip sync to this song. We're going to put it towards the end. It's going to be like this big thing. do this at home on your own, right? It's like everyone's on their phones, like doing this.
Yes. Yeah, remember
Just,
the Imagine video that they did at the beginning of the pandemic? We'll do one of those, but it's
yeah.
Celine Dion. People loved that video.
So so then they cut that. We go roll the credits, and then we got a little mid credits thing here. Did you continue to watch?
Maybe I don't know. I think I watched it through, but I didn't even write it down because I stopped caring.
So the credits roll for a few minutes,
Yeah.
and then it pops up him on his first podcast episode.
Oh, maybe I didn't get all the way to the podcast episode.
Yeah, it was. No, it's like it goes for a couple minutes, and then it pops up, and it's him introducing his podcast. Would you rather? Where he's interviewing musicians and blah blah blah, and asks them the hard hitting questions, like would you rather questions, and interviews them. And his first guest he's all excited about is, who do you think? Céline Dion.
Right.
And gets it out of the way. The first would you rather question: 10 cats or a parrot on his shoulder for 24 hours.
What?
Yeah, nailed it.
What a
Half court
payoff.
shot. Yeah. So that whole thing paid off.
Wow.
Yeah, he's slinging terrible tent, not ITMT level. So
And that's the end?
that's the end.
Okay. There's no after the credits?
There's no MCU post credits thing here setting up a sequel.
Yeah. It was like 2:00 in the morning, and I was like, they're just going to do bloopers this whole time. I'm shutting it off.
Yeah. By the way, Celine says the parrot, obviously, and that's how it ends. So,
Of course. Well, it's a stupid question.
yeah, it's dumb. It's a dumb would you rather. So,
It's one obvious answer. They're supposed to be hard. Like,
yeah.
would you rather like prevent the Vietnam War or kill your mother?
Yeah.
You're like,
yeah. Ooh, Jesus.
Those are hard.
Yeah.
Oh, a parrot. I'll just have a parrot on my shoulder for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Would you rather have like dicks for fingers or like or snakes for legs? You know,
Yeah. Good question.
great question. I have no idea. That's a tough
Snake
one.
legs.
Yeah, I'm going snake legs too because that just kind of looks badass, right?
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. So that's that. That's the movie.
That's the movie.
That's the movie. Would you rather?
How do we fix it? Jared and Russ ameliorate?
Yeah.
Leave it alone. Just let the German version lie. It's probably fine.
It wasn't a good book, apparently. The German version probably made it better, and let's just leave it at that.
Who asked for this other than Celine Dion?
That's probably about it. I don't know.
Lean into Celine Dion being a parody of herself. I want more of that. Like, make it like a Weird Al thing or something. Yeah. I don't know.
It's so tough. It's so tough to fix something like this because the core like premise is so ridiculous and like the plot is just destroyed instantly by real life, like how real life works. You know?
Yes. Right. Like,
so it's tough to fix something when the core of it is just so bad.
Yeah. Take it off the rails. Like, really go to town and make it nut. Like, that shit. Like I said, this guy's a poor man's JVDB. Like, make it like Don't Trust the Bitch in Apartment 23 when they're doing like a parody of like New York celebrities you know, do that. That would be funny.
Yeah. Lean into that. Definitely. I don't know.
Make it shorter.
Make it shorter. I mean, make it a 150-page book.
Yeah. Or don't.
or don't. Yeah, this is a tough one. This is a tough one to fix because there's not
more Nick Jonas. He was kind of funny.
Yeah, I guess maybe. I don't know.
I never thought I'd say those words, but
yeah, I know, and I can't believe I'm agreeing with you.
He was one of the best parts of the movie.
Never thought I'd agree with you on that one, but I think I do. I don't think I have anything. I don't think I have anything additional here to add to this. So
yeah, might as well shut it down then.
Shut it down. Oof, love again. No, thank you. Never again.
Yeah, never again.
All right. Well, we're gonna do a little SIM card swap here and stop texting this situation. Anyways, right. Thanks for listening. We're done. We're done with this. We'll be back next week with a new movie because that's what we do. We have staying power. Unlike Would You Rather podcast by Rob Burns. Please.
Weak premise.
Weak. You're weak. We'll be back with new trailer trash. In the meantime, you can follow us on Instagram at It's This Meets That. Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and set us to auto download. That'd be nice. And if you like the show, tell a friend. Text it to a friend.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, or I don't think you can text. Oh, yeah, text a stranger too. Just like put in a random number in your phone.
Yeah, see what
Be
happens.
like, have you ever listened to It's This Means That, the podcast?
See what happens.
Check it out. Yeah, see what happens.
I'm sure you can guess a real number that exists pretty easily. Just do that.
Totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
like we'll give you, 617. There you go. You got an area
Start there.
code to start with.
Go for it.
Go crazy.
Go crazy.
Or leave us a review. Just put that in a place that does exist, like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or 5 stars. Nice comment, maybe. Or send us an email if you're feeling old fashioned. We like those too. Give us long form content. We crave a nice 200-word email, maybe.
Oh, yeah. That'd be solid. Yeah.
Maybe a compliment sandwich. You can give us some feedback in the middle.
Been a while. It's
Constructive.
been a while.
Yeah. Or if you don't want to do any of that, just go to the website, because that's easy. No real effort. Maybe dig out your credit card, buy a shirt,
Buy a book.
or a mouse pad.
Buy a book
or
that's over 3 stars. Actually, it's over 4 stars on Amazon and
over
Goodreads.
4 stars. Good Lord.
Come on.
Host by Russ Capasso, wherever you buy books.
So many stars.
Yeah. And probably all that information and other stuff is at itsthismeansthat.com.